Things are being done to make our Cypress Cove campus even tougher, more resilient, in preparation for future hurricanes in Southwest Florida. The project has been dubbed Campus Hardening, and today we'll go behind the scenes with Cypress Living President and CEO Troy Churchill to learn more about how we're doing it. So today, Troy, we're going behind the scenes to look at what you're doing to harden the campus, which is a term that I'd never heard before I came to Florida, hurricane country. And isn't it fitting that today that we're recording this, it's raining out a little bit, and of course a lot of what you're doing has to do with water.
Yes, we have been working really hard. As you know, we've been on the journey with our FEMA hazard mitigation study. FEMA's been sponsoring that and helping us along the way. We've partnered with Johnson Engineering along with Grace Design Studio to come in and do a full-on study of the campus to see what we can do to prevent any future water events here. And so today we're going to look at a few of those things, a few things we've put in place. The study's not done yet, but you know, we like to move quick around here, and we are in the middle of hurricane season. And so we just wanted to showcase some of the items that we've been able to get done here to harden or create more of a resilient campus.
Resilient, that's the word I was looking for.
Part of our study, we actually, Johnson Engineering completed a LiDAR study here for the campus. We layered that over top of one of our maps so that we could see the different elevations of the buildings, the parking lots, the different berms we have, and that helped us kind of start our plan in motion of areas that might need to be protected a little bit more versus other areas that may have already been elevated. But when you think about where this campus sits, most of our campus, our buildings sit between the 8 and 9 foot elevation. And when we say that, that's from the seafloor. And so what FEMA is saying after Hurricane Ian, that they really want to see everything at a 10-foot elevation, and then certain classifications of buildings, like specific healthcare buildings, actually have to be at 12-foot elevation. Okay. So that 12-foot number is what we're utilizing as an organization to elevate when we're looking to raise things up, specifically generators in today's case. That's what we're trying to get those generators to. We're here at our generator for what we call Cypress Resource Group, or our CRG building. This generator is 175 kW. It is powered by natural gas through TECO. The gas comes in on the back side there. It's piped directly in. The reason we went with natural gas in this setting is we know that all throughout Hurricane Ian, TECO, natural gas, never had any interruptions in flow. And so we wanted to tap into that so we didn't have to have the big belly tanks or the big diesel storage tanks. We have the diesel on the main campus, just not here at this building.
Okay.
When you look at the building here at Cypress Resource Group, we also have 2 main entrances and exits. And so we, Scott Berry and Rock and a few others, found a good company. Sometimes they're called tiger dams or water dam, but it's like a bladder system that we actually fill with water. And it goes up about 2.5 feet. So this building sits at 9-foot elevation. So that gets us up, 11.5, almost to that 12-foot mark. Right really to where the window height is on this building to prevent water from coming in. Because this building will be where our healthcare residents evacuate to in the event of evacuation on the main campus.
I was wondering why this generator's built up so high.
Yeah, so we really wanted to make sure we can almost protect this building up to about 11.5, 12 foot with no interruption in power, AC, no water infiltration. And this building has obviously it was built as a bank originally, so it has got some impact glass and very strong windows. It's obviously a very strong structure, but then after Hurricane Ian, we also added that standing seam metal roof on it. So now we're here at the location of 2 wells that are going to be going in. Still in the design phase, but these wells will be for the hospitals here. One well will actually help to make sure that the fire systems have enough water so they don't have to evacuate like they did during Hurricane Ian. So all the sprinkler heads will stay charged with water. The second well is going to be helping with ensuring they have the non-potable water to ensure toilets flush, as well as their chillers can run, all of the other operational systems throughout the hospital. That is a key thing. The state's actually providing some funding for this. We're here right off Bass Road in the emergency entrance. So you can see this will be vital. And then the wells will pipe the water in under this road right over to the main facility plant. So now we're at the area between the cottage and our villas, and this is where we actually met with our engineers, realized there was a low area here. So we've increased the height of this berm by about 2.5 feet. We worked with Sunrise Landscaping to help get the work completed. And this berm stretches really from the corner of the road all the way down to the back side of the village. This will probably be the first of a couple different berms that we put throughout the campus. Obviously, the goal of the berm is to keep the water in the preserve so that it does not find its way into our lake system. Speaking of the lakes, we also have one of our 2 pumps here. This pump is used, it uses actual sonar to keep the level at a certain lake, and it'll pump the water from there, goes into the pump and then down into the preserve. We really can only use these pumps if we receive that emergency order, but these pumps help us manage the lake since they're all interconnected. So this is our other pump that we have. This is specifically stationed here near the yacht club, kind of between Cypress Cove and Sail Harbor. This is another pump that we use to manage the lakes. Once again, this is part of the property management, so the Health Park POA helps with this, but we'll make sure that these pumps are set up so that we'll actually pump the water from here over into the preserve.
What's inside?
That's where the main pipe the discharge pipe will hook up to that.
Yeah, and I believe this pump can move it either way from...
Correct, you can take it either which way. So
yeah.
What that helps is just because of the outflow, sometimes there's too much volume of water that's coming through, especially in a large rain event. And we can only use these pumps during an emergency order that comes out from the state of Florida to help manage those lakes. And many of the local communities around here do something similar.
Well, all of the ponds are somehow connected with a pipe underneath or something, and somebody told me this one is like 4 or 5 feet in diameter. I don't know if that's true.
There's different, so they all are connected, and which makes it great, obviously, because the water can flow back and forth, but it does make it kind of difficult because there's a lot of body of water that's moving, so we have to have multiple locations where we're pumping the water.
Yeah.
So John, I know this is one of your favorite spots. We're out here at the yacht club. But this is actually where the outflow structure is for the entire Health Park Florida campus. So all the water comes through here, goes through that gate out into the system, and then goes into the preserve naturally. And that's just the way the water flows.
You can actually see it bubbling through.
Yes, and so what happened during Hurricane Ian, it actually happened during Milton, but we had the device in place. We worked with the engineers to actually firm up this area. Our facilities came out. So now we can block this off, because what happened is that water lifted in the preserve and came through. So this outflow turned into an inflow, which filled our lakes in very quickly. So now we're able to secure that. We have a very large metal piece that goes down in there to then prevent that water from turning this into an inflow. Okay, so up a little bit higher now. We're at a higher elevation. This is actually the generator for the cottage. So the cottage was one of our last healthcare building that we built. And so the requirements had changed a little bit. So that's why it's elevated so much higher than the other buildings. But this is a 150 kW generator, as well as it sits on a 1,250 gallon diesel tank. There's a big belly tank there. So this generator is elevated. And this is the goal of what we want to do with both the lodge generator and the generator that monitors or provides power to the inn and the harbor.
Impressive and hidden. Boy, talking about be hidden.
Yes. This is the generator for the lodge. This is the one that we're looking to elevate. We're actually meeting later on today with Scott and the team of just talking to see what we can do to either elevate this or create some sort of structure to protect it from a water event. But this is also a diesel generator. It sits on a belly tank and then actually has a piped in underground to our large diesel holding tank right over there. Once again, we have about 5,000, a little over 5,000 gallons of diesel that we store on site. And this is one of our big ones. This is a 250 kW.
Okay, so what's the difference between this one and the one up on the tower that we just looked at?
So about 100 kW difference. So that one was 150. The cottage is a little bit smaller than the lodge. So this is the one specifically for the lodge. And the lodge, you also have some requirements for certain areas that need to be cooled and other things. So we're working with our electricians to make sure that we have everything we need to on these generators. And then also the plan of how can we protect it and or elevate this one.
Perfect. And this holds the fuel for the
Yeah, so this
launch
is
generator?
well, and it's actually, yeah, this is our large belly tank. So during the event, if we are running on diesel, obviously we can always pull diesel back and forth at different times, but this is where majority of our diesel is held underground.
Okay.
So we're here at the location of our portable generator. This is 150 kW as well, with a 250 gallon diesel tank it sits on. It allows us to actually, it's portable so we can move it around. This is really important just in case one of the generators that we've been looking at goes down. We can almost plug and play. So we're working right now with the electricians, the facilities team, to make sure we have all the connections needed so that if one of our generators fails, we have that redundancy. We can bring this one in to ensure that we don't have to evacuate a building and continue to maintain operations.
Good idea. Is this another portable generator?
This is a stationary one that we're also working on raising. This is a 300 kW generator. Sits on a fairly large belly tank. And this is actually for both the inn and then the harbor.
Okay.
So this is one of our newer generators. This is a 50 kW. This powers the tower. It's natural gas, so you can see where that's feeding in. It's the Tico natural gas. And this ensures that we have some of the common spaces cool, generators working. And we're actually going through and working with an electrician right now to actually identify which specific outlets in the building or in the units, the residences, so that we can also then notify those residents so that they know if they do lose power. We want to make sure they can use their ceiling fans, certain switches, things like that. So this is our 7th generator. This gets us up to over a megawatt of power, which is a lot for our campus. And so this is actually 100 kW, and you can see inside of here that this is also natural gas. This is for the clubhouse, as well as we're working to make sure we have some of our light poles on this generator as well, and to make sure that we can keep some of the operations going if need be.
Wow, that's quite an engine.
Yes, this does a great job. All these generators get tested and run just to make sure that they're staying in optimal shape. So in the case we need them, they're ready to go.
What do you have, a regular schedule when you run them?
Yes. Yeah, they all go. Some of them are automatic and some of them are, we actually come out and get them started up. The facilities team does a great job with that.
And we're right behind the clubhouse, which brings up another question.
Yes.
The infamous corner in the distance there, Bass and South Health Park Drive.
Yeah, so we actually have we had the drawing submitted to the county. They came back with some revisions, and so these revisions, Johnson Engineering, we actually did a group. We walked out there, we looked at all the areas. There's a lot of connections, there's a lot of wiring, some water lines that go through all those corners. So we walked through all that, made the revisions on the plan, and got them resubmitted to the county. So once we get the final okay from the county, I'll take it to the Health Park Florida Property Owners Association board for that final approval, and we'll get started.
When you say the county had revisions, can you give me an example of just one?
So one would be the lanes. So leaving, let's say Cypress Cove coming to Bass Road, it's actually 3 lanes. One of the lanes on the left is marked out in yellow. And so we wanted to make the revision where the farthest lane to the right is a right-hand turn going to Summerlin. The middle lane would be going across to CRG, Cypress Resource Group, or the Village Shops. And the left lane, which is currently blocked out, would be the left-hand turn to go down Bass Road towards Gladiolus.
Okay, so we really can't pick a target day for completion.
So they have told me that it'll be done in 2026. So we should be able to, once we get these approved plans and the final numbers, we can go through, get the budget set up, and the longest lead time item, it's about 4 to 6 months for the mast.
Yeah.
And there's some big masts that come out here.
Probably you hanging out in the CRG building want this even more than us, because you have to go through that.
Yeah, it's a pretty rough intersection. Thankfully, but we have a plan and it's coming, and it's taking a little bit longer than kind of expected, but that's what happens when you have so many different companies and organizations working together.
Troy, thank you so much for taking us behind the scenes.
My pleasure.